All right, let's get this ball rolling. Here we go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
And the crowd goes wild!
And we've got Bruce on speakerphone. He is
Live from the ballpark.
Yeah, it's actually, we're recording early this time, so it's Tuesday, and it's opening day for the Giants. And
The home opener.
The home opener.
Right.
That's right. Bruce, how you doing there?
Oh, it's a beautiful day out here. Nice afternoon. Giants are up 5-3. Of course, by the time this program airs, somebody will know the score.
Yeah.
So it's an in-progress report for you.
Well, I think Trevor Cahill has just been really terrific and gracious in allowing all these runs by the Giants.
Yeah, Brandon Bell is amazing. I can't. It's early. He's 5 home runs in the season's first 8 games. He hit a bomb today out of the right center field arcade area, and that really brought the crowd to life. But if they get something out of him this year that they hope to get, this offense really composed, because you've already got pretty good hitters in the San Diego opposed to the 106, possibly like the Warriors.
Maybe you can tell the Giants to tell the Giants to just kind of ease off in the offense while the show is going on, and then when we cut to commercial breaks, then they can get it exciting again. Okay, so we're going to go right into Vern. You were in Tennessee covering the Stanford women's quarterfinals.
I had the women's Final Four in Nashville from Bridgestone Arena. Got my little selfie picture with an Elvis impersonator. Man, I saw a lot in Nashville. But I was there working for CBS San Francisco, and we were covering the Stanford Cardinal, who had the daunting task of trying to figure out the Connecticut Huskies, Gino Ariello's Connecticut Huskies. And they came out like gangbusters and started off fast, stuck with them, and then it was like a sleeping giant. Huskies woke up, and that was the end of Stanford.
And you had so now you got two undefeated teams playing each other.
For the first time ever,
yeah.
You've got two unbeaten women's teams vying for the national title, and that would be Notre Dame and Connecticut. How about that? For the second time since 2004, we could have a men and women's champion from the same school.
From the same schools, yeah, and it's both from Connecticut.
Yeah.
That's what happened last time. So getting into before we get into the men's game, because that was pretty exciting. You had a 7th and an 8th seed, which I think was the first time that ever happened.
Right.
You were telling me that you were going to tell a story on the air.
Well, and maybe Bruce can relate a little bit, and maybe has gone through this when a player realizes the finality that their career is over, especially their collegiate career is over. It just kind of hits them, and granted, it's right after the game, moments after the game.
Yeah.
Stanford just lost, just were eliminated, and so one of the things that we like to do is talk to the seniors, because that's it. For the show's over for them.
Unless they go to the WNBA.
No, I'm talking about their collegiate career.
Okay.
It is the last time they're ever going to wear that uniform in their lives. And so I'm going around to the seniors, and then I went to Michaela Roof, who was one of the star players, a senior, and I said, not to be Oprah Winfrey or Barbara Walters about it to make you cry, but if you look at that jersey you're wearing, give me your emotions as you're wearing it for the last time. She started off great. She goes, "Hey, I'm not going to cry. This is a great career. Being in this line, I don't want to play for any other team. The sisterhood, and then boom, she just stopped, choked up, and then she kind of the floodgates started opening. I believe she managed to get out. Oh, I hate you, kind of thing. But I felt bad that I made her cry, and these tears are just rolling out of her eyes. I mean, it was something. It ended up being the soundbite to run. That's what when you capture that kind of raw emotion, boom. I mean, it goes on right away.
Well,
so it aired that night.
I was going to say, you had it air that night. You had it on film.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But there was her, and there was Sarah James, and one other senior who was Shanae Ogumake, the star of the team, who handled it very graciously. But man, I just felt so bad, and seeing this puddle of tears form just based on a question that I asked.
I was going to say, guys, I guess that happens a lot too at the college level because, as you mentioned, there's a finality of it, knowing that your career is over. Yeah, you might end up playing on pro level, but it's a little bit different for the women than it is for the men. Obviously, the NBA and the WNBA are worlds apart. But I love the fact that even though Stanford teams always bow out of the tournament, they always have exciting teams to watch. And Tara Vanderveer has put together some great shows. I got to tell you guys a quick story back in 19.
Wow.
What? When they weren't very good, and before Tara was there, I went down into a game, believe it or not, as a freelancer, play-by-play on the radio when USC was in town, and that was when Cheryl Miller was playing, so she put on quite a show, and I needed a color announcer because I knew nothing about Stanford basketball, and the top player who was hurt on their team said she'd come over and help me out, and we ended up going out on a bunch of dates.
All right.
Yeah. Nice gal named Sarah Evans. She was from Kentucky. Tall gal, about 6'4". She was a marketing major, and now she's become this little real estate mogul. She and her husband own a real estate company back in some little town in Kentucky, and she's very happy and has a couple of kids, and I keep up with her through Facebook, so it's kind of neat to keep track of all these people.
Well, it's funny. I was teasing Vern yesterday about he said he was going to tell about making the Stanford women cry, and I said, Vern, they always cry when they find out you're not an eligible bachelor.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time hearing you here, unfortunately, because of the background noise. But if you were talking about Stanford again, I just the quality of people they have there. Oh, here's Vida Blue walking by. Hi, Vida.
Hey, a friend of the program.
That's it. He was on a couple weeks ago.
Greg Pop is here today, Mike Schumann, Joe Stark. You're looking around. It's a veritable who's of Bay Area sports, radio, television luminaries. But
by the way, for our audience in Pittsburgh, this means nothing to them.
Yeah, I know. But now, Bruce, are these guys? They're watching you on the telephone. Are they asking you what you're doing?
Again, you'd have to repeat that because your voice is a little lower than word.
Yeah, it is very low. Are the guys wondering what you're doing on the phone?
Still having a hard time hearing you.
No, I can jump in and explain this. It's not an unusual sight to see someone on the phone going on and on during the course of a ball game, especially from the press box, because, Edward, there must be 4 or 5 other guys working for AP and other services that have these 20-minute updates, and they do it straight live right from the ballpark. So probably nothing out of the normal for Bruce to be on the phone jawing away.
Fair enough.
I hope I don't sound too tinny here. I put those speakerphone so I can pick you up a little easier. But Gordon's got such a loud voice. That's what you have to tonight. I know.
I'm just kind of a powder foot when it comes to my voice on that. I'll tell you what. We're going to cut to our first commercial break, and guess what the theme is, guys?
What? Baseball again?
Well, but it's the Giants, Dodgers, Traders.
Okay. All right.
So here we go. Which pitcher played for Brooklyn from 1918 to 1926, then signed with the Giants in 1927. And here's a little hint. He was grandfathered to legally throw a spitball. So he was one of the last guys to be able to throw a spitball legally. The first 3 emails with the correct answer are going to win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer to this question. Which pitcher played for Brooklyn from 1918 to 1926, then signed with the Giants in 1927, and he was grandfathered in to legally be able to throw a spitball? So
now, when we hear this name, Edward, is it going to be like, oh, yeah, or is it going to be, huh?
My guess is you probably have heard of him.
Okay.
He's not a household name.
All right, okay, fine.
You gotta know your old baseball. I don't know, Bruce. I don't know if you've
I'll
heard
defer
that.
to Bruce on that one.
Okay.
I didn't really answer that one. I didn't even have to look it up. I put the answer.
Oh, see, there you go.
See, it is a household name for him.
On the other side of the commercial break,
That's right.
Bruce will have the answer.
That's right. Okay, don't touch that dial. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, and we will be right back. All right. Okay, we're gonna. Let me save this and see how this sounds. I think we're gonna have to let it go. It's just too.
Hey, Bruce, Huddy's looking pretty good, isn't he, huh?
What's that? What'd you say, Bert?
Tim Hudson looking pretty good, huh?
Oh, boy, no, I just been getting the ball up a little bit. Goldschmidt had a couple of hits, but Econ's got 3 hits. Looking pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean, but as far as Hudson, I mean, he's kind of a contact pitcher. You know, a lot of ground balls. I mean, he's not really been in serious trouble. I mean, Goldschmidt hits everybody. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me save this here. Okay, I'm going to play this back for just a minute because I want to hear how it sounds. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
And the crowd goes wild.
And we've got Bruce on speakerphone. He is
live from the ballpark.
Yeah, I just want to hear this for a few minutes just to hear how it sounds this time. So it's Tuesday, and it's opening day for the Giants. And
The home opener.
The home opener, that's right. Bruce, how you doing there?
Oh, it's a beautiful day out here. Nice afternoon. Giants are up 5-3.
Sounds fine. It sounds fine. I've heard worse.
Yeah.
We'll know the score.
Yeah.
So it's an in progress. As you mentioned, for the finality of it, knowing that
Yeah, that
your
doesn't sound too
career is
bad.
over. Yeah,
Okay.
you might end up playing.
All right. Let me
on the pro
stop
level.
this here. Let me start.
Bruce, you're getting the thumbs up from the boss here.
Yeah, no, it sounds okay.
You know, I think after this next segment, I'm going to call it quits because I can't hear Edward very well at all.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want it to sound crappy, so you guys can talk.
All right.
All right.
Okay, we're going to have you answer the question now.
I'll answer your trivia question.
Okay. All right. Here
Yeah,
we go.
it's too bad you couldn't go down to the bunker and do the show from there.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
Kick, save, and a beauty.
I like that. And Bruce McGowan from AT&T Park. All right.
So you're on a beautiful sunny afternoon.
Love that. I know, it's hot outside, I tell you. Okay, so here's our first commercial break, and again, the theme is the Giants-Dodgers Traitors. All right? Which pitcher played for Brooklyn from 1918 to 1926? Then he signed with the Giants in 1927 and was grandfathered to legally throw a spitball. Vern, do you know the answer?
I do not, but I know Bruce does.
Bruce, what's the answer?
Yes, the answer is Burley Grimes.
That is correct.
Wow.
Burley Grimes.
You could have held a gun to my head and I wouldn't have been able to pull off that one.
The reason I know the answer, guys, is I partially just I have this memory for oddball trivia. But Bill King, when he was still alive, the voice of the Oakland A's on the radio, and he actually, in his first job as a radio broadcaster in the minor league, had Burley Grimes on as the pregame show host on a regular basis because Burley Grimes was the pitching coach of the minor league baseball team. And he told stories about Burley Grimes on that ball.
Excellent. Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, so let's get right into UConn beating Kentucky in the NCAA tournament.
yeah, man.
How did you like Napier?
Shabazz Napier is probably the only guy on that team that you know legitimately can make it in the NBA, as opposed to Kentucky. They got probably 5, maybe 6 NBA-ready guys right now. You know, and as I was watching the game, it looked like, you know, here's Kentucky. They got these gifted athletes all on the floor, but it seemed like UConn seemed to kind of play together, run their offense.
Yeah.
They just seemed to be the crispier, the more fluid team, and ultimately, I mean, hitting those free throws, that's the game.
Yeah.
They had all their free throws, 10 for 10, something
Yeah.
like that. And Kentucky, they could throw it in the ocean from the charity strike.
And didn't they start off with all freshmen?
All freshmen.
Five.
And off the bench, a kid from the Bay Area that I did a story recently on, Marcus Lee, who was pivotal in Kentucky's win over Michigan.
Okay.
But Monday night, it just Kentucky they got to within one so many times, and they just could not get that key bucket.
Well, the combination of Napier and Love Boat.
Yeah.
You know, that it was just
Mr. Boatwright.
Mr. Boat.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you: is about the idea of staying in college, and like Napier was perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
He stayed in college, and he had I don't want to say the game of his life, but I mean it was an awesome game, and now he's probably just right up there. I mean everybody in the country is looking at him. You know, he'll be primed for the NBA versus some of these guys who maybe jump ship a little bit too early. You know, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, there's two thoughts about that. Here's Napier, a guy who won the national title as a freshman. People forget that.
That's right.
And then a couple of years go by, they get close. Then last year, you might remember, Econ was banned from March Madness entirely because of low grades. And so a year later, everybody back, he's in his senior year, and lo and behold, wins another national title. Now, is he NBA ready? Sure. How much NBA ready? We don't know, because that's a whole different level of talent that you have to aspire to. Now, these Kentucky kids, a lot of them are ready right away. I mean, let's just face it, Kentucky's the one and done kind of school, and that just seems to be the kind of players that program attracts. And when it works, great, terrific. But when when you can't hit your free throws, which by the way falls in line with a lot of NBA guys who can't hit a free throw,
Sure.
then there you go. And that ultimately it just cost them the game last night.
Yeah, because they lost. They missed what, like 12 or so free throws.
I want to say they were like 5 for 13, maybe 7 for 13, something like that. UConn perfect 10 for 10. They lose by 6.
Yeah, there it is.
60-54.
So how many of those guys on Kentucky are going to be looked at as they're not? Well, actually, they're all freshmen now. Who were playing, right?
They were all freshmen. Yeah, I mean, there's a smattering of some upperclassmen, but the freshmen, those are the dynamic stars on that team.
I was going to say, because they didn't really look like they were NBA ready. Like UConn.
Well, I mean, there were flashes. I mean, there were blocks.
Oh,
You
awesome.
saw jams. You saw talent, and you saw plays that were NBA like, but it just wasn't consistent enough to win Monday night's game. And then, then the story surrounding Monday night's game was Coach Calipari. Is he going to go to the Lakers? I don't know if you saw the story that just went viral. That win or lose, Coach Cal was going to be the next coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, and that kind of overshadowed things. Everybody was talking about that. Now, and now it's like you got to look at UConn as the basketball factory, men and women.
Yeah. And how about, was it Kevin Ollie for his first?
Kevin Ollie. They say you never want to be the guy to follow the guy, but Kevin Ollie had to follow Jim Calhoun, and son of a gun, got it done.
First year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can only imagine how good Kentucky's going to be if those guys stay together.
Oh, they would just be unbeatable. Yeah. Oh, you could make an argument that they're probably the favorite right now for next year.
Next year, yeah.
If everybody comes back.
And that's the thing is, if I'm one of those freshmen, that might be the ticket, is to stay one more year. Okay, you have to talk to all the guys and say, listen, guys, let's stay one more year together and really make a name for ourselves, and then we'll all be ready for the NBA.
Just it's so easy for us to say. I mean, all it takes is the draft preview reports and indications that come in, and if you're a projected lottery pick. I mean,
how do you walk away from?
How do you walk away from being a member of the Set for Life Club?
Yeah. But if you can manage your money well,
as opposed to coming back to Kentucky and sleeping through class until practice every day.
Yeah. I mean, because Allen Iverson theoretically should have been Set for Life.
Yeah.
How many of those guys are there?
Yeah. Good point. Okay. Good point.
Moving out over here to Yasiel Puig. Question: are his antics good for baseball, entertaining? Or he's being compared to Muhammad Ali from that end of it. And will he settle down for 2014?
Well, I just think, when we were younger men, we thought we were invincible and we could just go off on no sleep and live the lap of luxury and just read the press clippings and just think you're just the man. But as you get older, you get a little wiser, you get a little smarter, and I think that will happen for Puig. But right now, he's making the common mistakes that a young superstar would make with no direction, maybe. I guess is possible. Yeah.
Like showing up late for practice, and I mean, come on.
Late for practice, he showed up on the Dodgers home opener. He shows up late, and they take him right out of the lineup just for that.
Which is, how else is the guy going to learn?
You're right.
Yeah, and eventually, I know they put him back in. But
we showed him the next day. Not only was he early, he was out there signing autographs. Oh yeah, he was. You're darn right.
Yeah, in fact, that's interesting. It says here, 20 years ago, a Harvard Business School professor, I'm reading from a Sports Illustrated article here, Clayton Christensen introduced the theory of disruptive innovation, which explains the process in which new technologies arrive on the market and have deceptive strength. So, it's kind of one of those, this guy comes out, Yasuo Puig, and, he's a different animal. He's not only entertaining, but, he really is, you got to know his talent.
Yeah, and these are, and to be fair, these, we're not in the Dodger clubhouse day in and day out, so we really don't know how it truly is. And then I can't relate to Puig's upbringing. Coming from virtually nothing.
But can you relate to him getting a 7-year, $42 million contract?
I can't even relate to that.
And he was only 21 years old. I don't know how a guy does that. Then the general manager here says, "We'll take the times that he gets thrown out or even overthrows the cutoff man." Because remember last year, God, he was getting thrown out that he shouldn't have because he's very fast. And the guy trying to be a superstar, but missing the cutoff man.
He made up for it with the bat before pitchers could figure him out. Because remember when he came up, nobody had any. Yeah. There were no scouting reports or anything, so he had the advantage, and boy, did he make pitchers pay.
Oh yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting. It said here, the general manager Gonzalez said that because the times that he doesn't get thrown out, it changes the game, and when he throws someone out, we win a game, or we get rolling because of it. So it's really kind of interesting. It's like, okay, we'll take the bad with the guy, because the good part way over compensates for it.
Yeah. How about the you talk about you throwing money around. I thought when the Japanese pitcher, the name slips me right now, it will come to me in about 20 seconds. But when he was making himself available, and instead of him visiting other teams and kicking the tires and decide which team he wanted to go to, his agent said, no, you're going to come to us. You're going to come to Beverly Hills to this mansion. Each of you teams will have 15 minutes to make your pitch, and then we'll make a decision. And like 10 teams came up and, they made the offer. The Yankees ultimately ended up winning. So
I like that. In fact, when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about Chris Johnson from the Tennessee Titans with his bitter holdout, because we're talking about money from that end of it. Okay, here's our second commercial break trivia question. Again, the theme is the Giants-Dodgers traders. Who was the outfielder who played for the Braves and the Indians, then became a Giant, and then retired as a Dodger?
I'm going to guess it's not Masahiro Tanaka, who was the Yankee pitcher I was talking about.
Okay, correct. It is not.
Okay.
And I'll give you a hint. First of all, do you know who this is?
Or ask the question again.
Okay. Who was the outfielder who played for the Braves and Indians, then became a Giant, and then retired as a Dodger? So I think I probably have to give a hint because that's a little bit too vague. He used to, or tried to, carry a water bottle onto the outfield before the MLB banned it.
Really?
Yeah. So the first 3 emails with the correct answer went 3-3-8 United States, Lighthouse.
So he played for the Braves, played for the Indians, then came to the Giants,
and then he retired as a Dodger. That's where the trader part comes in.
Okay, all right.
So email Edward at sportsecon101.com. The answer to this question. Again, the outfielder played for the Braves and the Indians, then became a Giant, and retired as a Dodger. And here's the hint: he tried to carry out a water bottle onto the outfield because it's getting dehydrated before MLB banned it. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back. Over on that side. Yeah, I think we just. That's fine. We're doing just fine.
We've got momentum.
Yeah. Let's go really fast doing 2 shows like this.
Line from Pleasanton on Thursday, altitude training. Arms from SCO, Steve's doing 6 tomorrow, ballpark live shot would have to be outside.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, Bruce McGowan. We just can't keep him on the phone. It's a little crazy there at AT&T Park.
Technical
difficulties, but we have, of course, the famous Vern Glenn of Cape.
Also known to be infamous.
No. Okay, here's our second trivia question. Again, the theme is Giants-Dodgers rivalry. Well, traders. Who was the outfielder who played for the Braves and the Indians, then became a Giant, and then retired as a Dodger? And here was the hint. He tried to carry out a water bottle onto the outfield before Major League Baseball banned it.
Here's the wild guess. Kenny Lofton.
No.
Dang.
Brett Butler.
Brett Butler. Yep. Terrific leadoff man.
Oh, awesome. Great punter. Okay, getting back, I said...
Not Red Butler. Brett Butler.
Yeah. Frankly, my dear, I don't know. Okay, so Chris Johnson of the Tennessee Titans.
Fast man.
Very fast. But it
cost too much. Titans let him go.
That's it. And here's the thing that was kind of interesting. It was a bitter holdout, and he was released by the Titans. But here's what I thought was interesting, is that he was released after most teams in need of a running back had filled the spot or spent their cap room on other positions.
Boy, what an evil organization!
Yeah, that's it.
Man,
exactly.
they really,
stuck it to
they
them.
really. That just goes to show you, no matter how wrong they might be or right they might be, but in the case when they're wrong, you still can't beat the man. Am I right? Management always win. They always win.
They control the purse.
Absolutely, they always win.
Well, I don't know. Let's see. Do you think the contracts would be as high if players didn't have their union?
If they didn't have the union, of course not.
Yeah. So I mean, they're kind of winning on that end of it.
No. The owners will make it way much more.
Okay. So let's see here.
Actually, an exclusive club to be in. I mean, there's only 30 members of that club.
Well, unless the team is owned by a bunch of people.
Well, true.
But
true.
Still,
true. That's a good point.
Okay. So anyway, they said that he's probably going to have a hard time finding a decent deal in free agency, because it says here again, $53 million contract in 2011.
Well, the problem is running backs are a dime a dozen. Yeah, there's some great dynamic ones, but the way these offenses are today, and the bruising, hard-hitting defenses that there are, I mean, the shelf life of a running back is not that long now.
It used to be, 5 years?
Yeah, it's got to be less than that now. So, a lot of teams aren't just going to, I just don't think they're going to pay top dollar for a workhorse running back.
So, if you're the sports agent, you got to get a huge upfront bonus and
go out and get what you can, man. That's right.
Okay. So, speaking of sports agents, moving on here to Emmanuel Sanders' agent, a gentleman named Steve Weinberg. Now, people were kind of upset with him because of his antics, or tactics, I guess I'd say, because apparently he pulled a few shady moves, and one team official said he broke every rule in negotiations. So here's what happened. First,
an agent? Shady moves?
No, I know, isn't that hard to believe?
Please.
Listen, we all saw Jerry Maguire. Okay.
By the way, I had lunch recently with Steve Baker, sports agent.
Oh, yeah. Well,
another friend of the program.
Friend of the program?
Yeah.
Fun guy. Okay, so the Kansas City Chiefs believed that Sanders was going to sign with them, giving them a verbal agreement on the deal. Then Weinberg was accused of offering his client up to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, using the Chiefs deal as leverage. Gee, sounds familiar.
That happens all the time. Using teams as leverage happens all the time.
Okay, but later that night, Weinberg agreed in principle with the Broncos. He also blew off a meeting with the San Francisco 49ers in the process. So several reports suggested that the Broncos had no idea Weinberg had verbally agreed to another deal previously, but Denver still intended to sign Sanders to a 3-year deal, assuming that he passed his physical. So Weinberg was recently reinstated, apparently, by the NFL Players Association, which had barred and decertified him back in 2003 because he reportedly diverted assets to an offshore account illegally during a dispute.
Now that's shady. Playing with somebody else's money like that.
There you go. So he sued the National Football League Players Association, claiming it illegally stripped him of certification for 8 years, and also seeking lost income.
He'll
right?
be okay.
He'll be okay. So
Yeah.
I guess he was.
He just
put back in.
look into his offshore account.
Yeah, exactly. I
He'll
don't
be
know
fine.
what's happening with that. So they said technically what Weinberg did in negotiating a contract for Sanders was not illegal by NFL rules, as they had not signed a deal yet, but it broke several unwritten rules, and team officials are crying major foul. So, how do you? I guess an agent, what he should do is just talk generally about, we think we're interested. Well, here, like what you said about the Yankees pitcher, right? You say, listen, we're going to give everyone 15 minutes. Make your best shot,
Mm-hmm.
and then don't necessarily pit one against the other, but you got to make the.
You got 15 minutes to show why, why you need to date us. Why you need to come here. 15 minutes and that's it.
Now I wonder how many. Now, of course, this would be collusion too if the owners got together and said, "Listen, nobody pay this guy more than
No, it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work that way.
Doesn't
No.
work that way.
No.
It's called price fixing.
Yeah.
In the real world of business, as they say, anti-competition.
Yankees probably didn't even need 15 minutes. Probably walked in and went 7 years, 155. Sign here.
Somebody got.
Oh yeah. It's an outrageous amount of, and they had to pay his Japanese team a $20 million fee.
Get out of jail free.
Just
card.
yeah.
Wow. Just let him go. How good is he?
Very good.
I mean.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, he's terrific.
And the thing is, if he doesn't get hurt, we'll see.
Yeah.
If he's worth it.
Well, that's the great risk that you take.
Okay, so Miguel Cabrera signing a 10-year, $292 million contract at age 31.
Pay the man.
$250 million.
Gotta pay him.
Okay, now question, and no one can argue how good Miguel Cabrera is, but at age 31, I don't know how that works with him. He's age 31, but they give him a 10-year contract. Do they really expect him to play for 10 years?
No.
So
What was the signing bonus? What was?
I don't have that here, but signing bonus. He's already gotten how many millions in bonuses before? But does that make sense for the Tigers?
I think so. He sells a lot of tickets, which he sells a lot of merchandise. Tigers get to keep a lot of that, and he's productive. I mean, he's
definitely productive,
and he's durable because he doesn't get hurt. So
how many more tickets would they? Let's put it this way: how many extra tickets do they sell because of him? Or do people they'll go to a Detroit Tigers game just because they want to see the Tigers?
I think. Well, I mean, they don't have Fielder anymore. Fielder's a Texas Ranger now. I mean, they had to. They had to protect the power in that lineup, and that was him. You don't think he would have signed for less? No.
Really? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
If you didn't have leverage, yeah. But come on, it's Miguel Cabrera. You had to
Triple Crown winner. You got to give the man what he's worth. Okay.
But I'm pretty much I'm a pro player guy because I know their careers are only for so long. So I'm along with the recording artist Drake when he says you got to get it while you're here, boy.
Well, going back to guys like Ted Williams, who he was a pretty good player when he was
great player. Just played in the wrong just played in the wrong era.
Yeah, exactly, because he had to I don't know what he did on the off season. Maybe be a real estate salesman or something. But
you're a numbers guy. I would love to figure out the dollars that guys like Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio would command today. I'm sure there's a way to kind of playfully calculate it or whatever, but I would love to know. And these are guys that a lot of these guys had to negotiate year by year contracts. I mean, it was totally performance based because right behind them were guys in AAA and the Pacific Coast League that were. That could be starters on other teams.
I don't. Well, first of all, answer your first question. I think they would be similar to this Miguel Cabrera, right? Because Ted Williams won Triple Crown, and him batting 400 and all that.
Unbelievable hitter, and that was an age where you didn't have the benefit of these elaborate scouting reports and analysis breakdown of video and all the stuff that because every clubhouse has a video room where you can just sit there and all these cut-ups of all your at-bats against this particular pitcher.
So
they just study him.
Okay, but I wonder how much much the owners were making back then. I mean, they weren't making the billions that they are now, but you know, so it's kind of, I think partly it's kind of relative. I mean, obviously they're doing better now because they have player representatives, but you know, I don't.
The owners didn't really start making bank until the TV contract started coming on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it really. Yeah.
Right. So here's the thing: is are you against performance-based year-by-year contracts? I mean, I understand a guy gets hurt and boom, his career's over, and it's like, oh, all this work for nothing, and then you know, what's he going to do afterward? Well, you know,
I'm not necessarily against playing for your supper year by year, but I'm definitely pro large signing bonus in the event that something happens, because that's your security right there. That's your insurance, I think.
Yeah, that's true, because yeah, that's what the guys are working for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it is kind of wild. I mean, baseball, yeah, and you get hurt. I mean, football for sure. You get hurt, and it's like all that work for nothing.
Because a lot of these guys, we're talking about baseball players. I mean, a lot of these great Hall of Famers had to go out and sell insurance, sell cars, do all kinds of stuff in the off season, and then they use spring training to get in shape. Now, it's year round, baby. You better stay in shape, or your job's gone.
There's a guy right behind.
Exactly.
You.
Yeah.
No, well, that's and again, I don't know if I disagree with it too much, because you want competitive baseball. You want these guys to play hard. I know they're going to play hard just in general because they want to win a championship, but it's kind of, I don't know if it gets too much pressure to them. Like, oh my God, if I don't get another 10 points on my batting average, I could be gone.
Well, everybody's different. I mean, there's you got a roster of 25 guys on the team, all with different personalities. Some have extreme competitive nature where, I mean, you can pay them, $20 a game. They're going to go out there and dive in. Exactly. Then you got the guys that kind of think of it like a business. Okay, I'm incorporating myself. I'm a business. It's my company. My body is my calling card, and I better protect it, or it's over.
And you get guys like Hunter Pence who just play because they like hanging around with the guys.
Yep, there's that too.
That's it.
And they're gifted.
Yeah, sure. And they can hit a ball 3 times with one swing of the bat. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. That was crazy.
Okay, we're going to cut to our third and final commercial break. Here's the trivia question. Again, the theme is Giants, Dodgers, Traders. You'll get this one. Which second baseman played for the Giants in the late 1990s and then in the mid-2000s played for the Dodgers? Yeah, shaking your head. You knew this one.
Yeah.
The first 3 after the Burley Grimes one, I had to give you one easy one.
Thank you.
The first 3 emails with the correct answer.
That's kind of a slow-pitch softball question.
A little bit. Well, we saved it for the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, end up on a high note.
All right.
Okay, the first 3 emails with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email edward@sportsecon101.com. The answer to this question: which second baseman played for the Giants in the late 1990s and then in the mid-2000s played for the Dodgers? And if I remember, did he get in the Hall of Fame yet?
No, he's not. He was eligible. It did not get enough votes this time. I think he eventually will get in.
Well, I think he will get in. He was an MVP at least once.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Thanks to Barry Bonds, who made a lot of money. Bonds made he does not deny. Hey, Barry made me a lot of money.
And there you go.
Oh yeah.
Because they didn't want to pitch to Barry, so they pitched
exactly.
To him.
Exactly.
All right, don't touch that dial. SportsEcon101. I always say .com. SportsEcon101 will be right back with some closing comments. It's funny because I read the .com here. Okay. All right, almost done with one show.
Hey man, I had lunch today at a. You ever heard of a place called the Battery?
No.
If the Bay Club and the Bohemian Club had a baby, it would be the Battery Club.
Okay,
in San Francisco. It's on Battery between Broadway and whatever the next street over is. It's essentially it's on Battery at Broadway, and it's magnificent.
Really,
it's a private club. Somebody's got to, like any other club, somebody's got to sponsor you, nominate you, and then you. And then if you get nominated, then you have to fill out this little questionnaire where you explain, why you would be a good member, what can you, how can you make this club great, and then you find out by email whether you get in or not. And, if you get in, well, that's it. It's a couple $100 a month for the social membership. It's 4 stories high. There's multiple rooms, libraries. There's conference rooms. There's a lot of lounges, a lot of bars. It's great for business. My favorite was, because I took a little tour after lunch. They have a secret room, and you walk in this room, and this is straight out of Get Smart, Secret Agent 86. You walk in this room, and you go to the back wall with this bookcase, and then you just like hit some little thing, and the bookcase opens. And then there's the rooms behind it. And in that room, you play cards, whatever. It's awesome.
And then you go.
That's what it. That's,
all right, Chief. Let's
have a cone of silence.
Yeah.
But man, it's great. They got a great spa, gym. They've got hotel rooms. The gym's extra.
Okay.
The $200 a month is just for the social membership. You go in there, you eat there, you hang out, you just
you pay for food too, I bet.
Yeah, pay for your food. And then I think the gym membership is like another $70.
That's still not too bad.
Come on. And
I mean, really, that for that kind of thing.
And then top floor has this huge penthouse. I don't know how many square feet it is that you can rent out for parties and whatnot. They I guess they host a lot of guest speakers and stuff like that.
Now, how did you find out about this?
A friend of mine's a member. Steve Baker's wife.
Oh, okay.
Joined, and so she had me and Nicole down to have lunch with her today because she's brand spanking new. Just became a member last week.
Oh, okay.
And her office, she works for Fox News.
Yeah.
Is just down the block from Channel 5. So even though I was off today, we came in and had lunch with fabulous place.
Wow.
It's the Battery. But I could see it's really not worth it for me or for you because we don't work in the city. But if I did every day and I needed to network, take clients out, get a great place.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. The Battery.
I should talk to Mark about because he lives in Nevada. I was thinking my co-host on the other show. Because literally we have Gil Gross.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's been doing. He met with us and he likes what we do, and so he goes in and promotes it on his show, and we've raised like $1 million in the last month just because of him endorsing it. So stuff like that would be worth it to him. The Battery, write that down.
Yeah, you go and Google it. The Battery, San Francisco, started by a guy from New York. Who I guess saw similar clubs like that in like the Soho area and started this one out here. The architecture is amazing in it. So I liked it, man. It was great.
Nikki like it too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I met Steve's wife. I went to their house once because he and I had breakfast, and then he wanted to show me.
Up on Hillsdale, and it's nice.
Oh my God, how do you drive? I could never live up there. That drive me bananas. It's like a one-way street.
It's because the street's really narrow.
Oh my gosh.
And I think way back when they were built, I think people that built those roads never thought for a minute that you'd have these big SUVs and whatnot just barreling around.
Yeah, but even smaller cars is still hard.
Yeah.
That pretty much covers most of what I had here. Is there anything like this? We only have like a minute and 20 seconds. Probably should mention just a smidgen on the Masters, just since it is this week. Isn't that funny? That is one of the things that I shoot. Yeah, the Masters is this week. We just got to talk about that's one. Maybe the luster isn't the same now. The Tiger isn't playing. Yeah, exactly. No matter what happens. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vernon Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce is off today. He was on, but he's off. Okay, third commercial break trivia question. Again, the theme is Giants, Dodgers, traders. Which second baseman played for the Giants in the late 1990s and then in the mid-2000s played for the Dodgers?
Well, he wore 21 for the Giants
That's
and
true.
then switched it around and wore 12 for the Dodgers. That would be Jeff Kent.
That would be Jeff Kent. Okay, before we cut out here, we want to talk a little bit about Tiger Woods missing the first Masters.
Yeah.
What's that going to do for the game of golf?
I think, I think the golf diehards will hang around no matter what.
Sure.
But what Tiger would do, he would bring in the fringe fan, and so that audience, I think, is going to go away. There's a lot of people like, oh, he's not playing. I'm not going to watch.
Well, they said in 2009 when he had the issue with the wife, 2010. Well, yeah, 2009. It cost golf $1 billion.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe. Was it 2011 though?
No,
November
2009.
2000. Wow.
Because I was on KNBR doing that, and I actually said, "Thank you, Tiger. You gave me a little bit of food there for the show." All right, here's our thoughts for the day. The state sport of Maryland is jousting.
What?
I wonder if that's still legal. Okay. And there's a growing sport in Berlin and London called chess boxing. Players alternate between.
Oh, I've seen video of this.
I got a video.
You get these big raging behemoths. They sit around, they play chess,
Yep.
and then they go in there, they beat each other's brains out. Crazy.
Okay, so players alternate a round of chess and a round of boxing until one is declared winner by either a checkmate, a KO, or a technical stoppage.
Wow.
Isn't that funny? You gotta love that. I've got to YouTube that.
Some slow days in that part of the country.
Yeah, I bet. Chess boxing. All right, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and giving away more free vacations. For answering trivia questions, Bruce will be off again today, so Vern, it's just you and me.
Mano y mano.
Okay. Audience, thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.